Welcome to another edition of A Little Perspective. I am talking with Misty Stevenson tonight. Misty is very active in our community. She is a longtime nurse and co-owner of Stevensons Elite Renovation. Thank you so much, Misty, for being here with me today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for inviting me. Like you said, I have been a registered nurse for 21 years. I graduated from Loyola University. I'm currently enrolled in the master's program for nursing education. And I am co-owner of Stevensons Elite Renovations. My husband is the owner. And what we do is we do all things home. We can do additions, decks, renovate at floors, you name it, top to bottom. We do roofs, anything, fences, everything. He can build your house from the ground up. And like you said, I'm very active in the community. I'm part of Black Nurses Rock. I'm the vice president. I'm part of the NAACP. I'm part of Like-Minded Ladies, love them, and so on and so forth. So I do appreciate you for having me.
Awesome. So, shoot, I had a question I was going to ask you right out the jump, and then oh no, your interior design. I didn't mention anything about that. You have quite the knack for interior design as well. Are you for hire for that?
I am always. That's actually it's my hobby. I do it for free, but with the way this pandemic is set up, it's always best to have some type of side hustle. So yeah, I do interior decorating, primarily home staging, but I have done some homes and several offices along the Gulf Coast.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have quite the talent, that's for sure.
Well, thank you. My mom actually is where I got it from. My mom her home's beautiful. It looks like something that should be in a magazine. Yeah. Between her and my sister. Yeah, so I don't know I don't know. I think they're better than me. They think, we're all, but yeah, my mom definitely.
That's funny. Y'all have a little bit of friendly competition too sometimes, it seems.
We do. And yeah, because often I'll say, I don't like that. And then we'll say we don't care that the other doesn't like it. And then we end up changing it anyway. So
yeah. That is too funny. So how did you get into nursing? What made you decide to choose that field?
Whew, you got your coffee? Well, actually, my mom's a registered nurse and she has been for 45 years. So she would take me with her to work a lot. And she said that I would always do little stuff like I try to take the temperatures, or I would touch the heads or try to figure out what was going on with them. So I've been trying to nurse since I was 6 years old. But after several different times of, trying not to do it, I said, oh, I'm going to be a psychiatrist. My mom said, oh, you can be a psych nurse. I said, well, I'm going to write books. She said, well, you can do nursing journals. I ended up becoming a nurse anyway. So that's how I got into it. I was sort of kind of, how can I put it, delicately forced into it by my mom. But it has been the best career choice that I could have chosen. I really can't picture myself doing anything else other than that.
Oh, that's funny. Try to run away from it as much as you can, and just
I did.
Put you right back in.
Right back in.
What are you going to school for now?
To obtain my master's in nursing, for nursing education. I literally have climbed the ranks of nursing. I started out as a CNA when I was in college, actually. Then I ended up getting my LPN license. I did that for 10 years. I went back and got my associate's degree in nursing, and I did that for a little while. Then I went back, got my bachelor's degree, and now I'm in for my master's. Thought about doing my doctorates, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that. So I figure, hey, I've climbed the ranks. I got a lot to offer, so I might as well teach other men and women how to become nurses.
Is that what you'd like to do after?
Okay. Yeah, that's what my specialty is.
Oh, okay.
Nursing education.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's excellent. Excellent. So I know you got your bachelor's from Loyola. I actually went to Loyola right out of high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So go Wolfpack, right? It's such
Yeah,
an amazing institution.
it is.
It's different than a lot of other institutions, so that's
Mhm.
incredible. Um, so tell us a little bit. I know that you have a little bit of a self-love journey that you have been on, and I would love to hear a little bit about that.
Well, one of the biggest things that I had to overcome was self-hate. And I did speak about that a little bit in my chapter of the book, Mind Your Mental Health. Um, so it was just, it's always ever since, well, once I finally decided that enough was enough, I then became the opposite side of that and said, okay, I really want to fall in love with myself. I didn't really know how to do it at first. I did a lot of reading. Tell anybody, self-help books are a godsend. So I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of praying, and I spent a lot of time by myself. I tell people, in order to love yourself, you have to know yourself. In order to know yourself, you have to spend time with yourself. And in order to spend time by yourself, you do have to walk alone a lot of times. So once I started that journey and I started really just falling in love with Misty, getting to know Misty, um, then I decided that, you know what, this feels good. I want to give some back. And so that's when I started mentoring and talking to kids, young women, which is that's where my heart is, young women, um, and just talking to them about the importance of self love and how it can affect your decisions because it affected mine really bad. The self hate part, and the self love part too. So yeah, it's been quite a journey.
At what point did you said that you decided that enough is enough? What was the decision making? How did you finally come to that decision?
Well, I was tired. That's But what I was tired of is going to work, coming home. Um, I wasn't giving back to my community. I wasn't very involved. Um, I was 265 pounds. I was not working out. I wasn't eating healthy. I was smoking cigarettes. I was miserable. And finally, I just said, okay, so either this lifestyle is going to kill me or, I'm going to kill myself because I was so depressed.
Hmm.
And again, I prayed about it. I was tired. Enough was enough. And I don't know, something just happened. One day the light bulb went off. I got into a really good church that was, really feeding my soul. Empowerment Ministries Christian Center. Wonderful, wonderful church. Wonderful pastor, wonderful first lady. And they were, it was feeding my soul. And it was exactly what I needed. And at that point, it was just, I think God just took over and I just went from there. I started, and which is no secret, I had weight loss surgery.
Hmm.
Um, but that was after I loved myself, started falling in love with myself. It wasn't anything that, it's not like I had the weight loss surgery and then I said, oh, I love who I am now. It's totally opposite. The self love is what made me want to take better care of myself.
Hmm.
I did my research and that's when I decided, okay, I would want to do the weight loss surgery.
Yeah.
I was working out faithfully, eating healthy faithfully. Um, just I quit smoking cigarettes. I started getting involved with my community. Um, my friends changed. Yeah, that was rough. Um, but
Growing
it's okay,
pains.
huh?
Growing pains.
Ooh, the growing pains. But it was all well worth it. Would I do it again? Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yes, in a New York second.
Hmm. And it's easy, and I say easy, but it's easier to look back and say, yes, I do it again, because you see where it got you. But when you're in it, sometimes it's hard to say, okay, I'm doing this and this is where it's going to get me, because you don't know that this is where you want to go, but you don't know that that's where it's going to go. And then when you go through things like losing friends because of growing pains, that can make it really, really hard. And then you mentioned having to do things alone, which I agree completely. You have to
Mhm.
find who you are in order to love yourself, and in order to have any kind of whole wellness or whole happiness, you have to love yourself.
Mhm.
So do you have any suggestions or tips for anyone who maybe kind of in that like middle part where it's ugly and gross and doesn't feel so good, but it's important to get through to get to the other side?
I do. I tell people, of course, there's going to be, everything has an expiration date. There's going to be an end to everything. There's going to be a graduation. There's going to be an end to everything. Just be still, trust God, keep moving forward, stay positive. And I mean, and if you're not strong, like, you have those days where it's like, I just can't do this anymore. This is not, I want to fall back into my old ways. That's easier. That's when you call those good friends that are egging you, that are like cheering you on, that good family member, that mentor, your pastor, your teacher, whoever, your life coach. Call Angela. That's when you do that. Because yeah, it is hard and it's lonely, but it's doable and it's worth it. So yeah, just stick with it no matter what. And hey, we all have, our moments. I recall when I was trying to quit smoking, picked up a cigarette, started right back. I put it right back down, and I picked up and where it left off and kept moving. So, I mean, we have our days. We're human. I mean, we have to forgive ourselves and be patient with ourselves. But don't stop. Don't
Yeah.
stop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But
yeah,
when you realize that that's part of it, then you can kind of get back to the 2 steps forward after you go back a little bit easier. Being able to see someone who has been through it, and has been through things, and that you are wildly successful. Like you from the outside looking in, you have it all. You have a wonderful marriage. You have an incredible business with him. You have a really great career, and then not to make light of that, because you earned every bit of it. But, to say this is where you are, but this is where you were. And so therefore it's possible. You just have to just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward.
You do. And like I said before, you have to be kind with yourself, be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself. Mm-hmm. And as far as, I know even with my marriage, I'm very lucky and blessed. I still say, I don't know how he came about, but that was all God. It's not me. But, it's something I choose every single day. I wake up every day and I choose to go to the gym. I choose to eat healthy. I choose to love my husband. I choose to further my education. I choose my community. It's a choice every single day.
That is so well said. It really is well, everything's a choice, but when you're not intentional in your choices, then that's when you end up somewhere that you're like, how did I get here?
How did I get here?
Yeah. When you're intentional in your choices, then you don't have to often ask that question, because you know how you got there. Whether it was good or bad, you know how you got there.
Yeah.
I love the last couple of days you've posted about getting up early. And, I felt a little seen in those posts, but, that's okay. And sometimes we all need that little bit of moment of, do you really want this, or are you just saying you want this? So,
right.
Yeah. How do you make yourself get up that early and do what you do to reach your goals?
I am, I'm very goal driven. So if I have things that I'm working on, I'm one of those people that I have to have about six, what do they call it? 6 plates turning at a time, so that I'm constantly doing something. If I'm not, then nothing's getting done. Even in my occupation, I have to have just a little bit of stress, because if I don't, then I'm laid back. I'm not thinking anything of it, and then nothing gets done at all. So, but the main thing that keeps me pushing is I know where I came from. I know where I never want to go back to, and this is what it's going to take. I've been, unhealthy as far as my weight, so I have to go to the gym. I have been broke, so I have to make sure I'm at work. I have been, like I was telling a good friend of mine the other day, I was a chronic complainer at one while, so I have to stay positive. So I guess just knowing that I'm goal driven, it wakes me. I don't even have an alarm clock. I mean, literally 3:30, 4 o'clock, I'm up, and my husband's right behind me. We're just really, really goal driven right now.
That's awesome. That's incredible. I love that. So if you were once a chronic complainer, how on earth did you, because you are very positive. Like you are an extremely and not just in your words, but also in your actions and in your energy. Like I love being around you. One of the things I missed so much this past year is the networking and being able to be around women like you, because that I just feed off of that energy. I'm an introvert, but when you are being able to connect with women like you, where it's just, you know, so much goodness. So how on earth did you go from being a chronic complainer to this just positive person?
Well, I realized that everything that I was complaining about was things that I was doing to myself. It wasn't anything that anybody else was doing, at least I thought it was, but I mean, it was always a complaint. And I realized that people were getting off the phone with me. And it was just, especially when I started with the self-reflection. That's the main thing, self-reflection. That is so vital and key. But I started self-reflecting and I'm thinking, I can't think of anything positive to say to anybody. I mean, they call me and the first thing I say, oh, I'm hurt and I'm tired. I don't like this job. I'm sick of being overweight. I mean, it's just chronically complaining. And finally I said, enough is enough. So yeah, when I was spending that time by myself, I worked on that. And I said, if I don't have anything positive to say, I'm not going to say anything at all, whether it be to someone else or even to myself. So that was, again, that's one of those things that we have to work on. That's an internal thing. I don't think a lot of people realize that they do it, but I'm so thankful that I picked up on it.
Yeah, I don't think, and I think it's easy to do when you feel those feelings, when you really feel like everything is, there's nothing positive, then it's easy for that to be what you're saying. And if you don't have people in your life to say, shut up,
Yeah,
listen to yourself,
yeah.
then you don't, it takes self-reflection's hard, and it takes a level of, before you even get to the point of self-reflection, you have to be ready for, like, I'm ready to change. And then you have to be like, okay, what am I going to change? And that whole thing is a process. So it's easy to be stuck in that everything, but we all know those people and we don't want to be around those people. So
no, the negative Nancy's. No, I was a negative Nancy at one while.
I can't picture it. That's awesome. You have really come a long way for sure.
Oh yeah.
You would be the person to tell somebody to shut up.
I mean, I'm almost ashamed to admit, but I have not told people to shut up, but I have told people the reason why I cannot, that I just can't put myself in the company of them is because I don't do how they say misery loves company. I can't be the company to the misery.
Yeah.
Either you're going to do something about it or.
I think that's good though, because like I said, if you don't have people telling you that, then at what point do you finally realize, oh, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Like you said, most of the situation that we're griping and complaining about, we put ourselves in one way or another. Either we put ourselves in it or we're not doing anything to get ourselves out of it. So sitting around complaining about it isn't going to do any good. So it's great that you are able to do that for others. So that's good. I also love that when you talked about the weight loss surgery, how you talked about that that was a result of you learning to love yourself, not the cause of it. I think so often people get caught up in thinking, once I get to a certain point, then I'll be happy. But the point isn't where the happiness is. Inside is where the happiness is. I think
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the renovation business. How did you guys get that started?
Okay, so my husband, who's extremely talented, he's always, done things like worked on things, fixed things. And honestly, I'm sorry, I'm so excited trying to get it all out. We had done some work for some elderly people And, we were doing little stuff like that just for free or for really, really cheap. I mean, we weren't planning to make it a business. And the job that he was on, he was basically over it. So he decided he went back to school. He got a degree in, he obtained an associate's degree in electrical technology. And he went and got his contractor's license, set for the boards and everything. And so we decided to start Stevensons Elite. This February will be 3 years. So 3 years ago, we went full time. And so it's just been growing and growing ever since. We are currently, I think we have 7 employees. So yeah, we have 7 employees, and we work every day, almost every day, it feels like anyway. And it's just growing and growing. We're so blessed.
Well, you get what you put out, and you guys put out so much goodness, and so it's definitely a direct reflection of that. Not to mention how you guys do great work. But so 3 years. So we met when you guys first started that, because we met at the Legacy group. That had to be 3 years ago.
It had to have been 3 years ago. Yeah, because it hasn't. Yeah, I haven't been to one in a while. Well, she hasn't had one in a while.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. Yes, we had just started.
Wow. Oh, how neat. That's awesome. Man, you guys have come a long way in such a short time. That's amazing.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. All right. So what am I missing? What else do you want to talk about? You mentioned your book, so let's talk about your book.
Yes, Mind Your Mental Health book. I was a co-author. The actual author is Jocelyn Lane, and so she approached a certain group of us and said, hey guys, this is what the book's going to be about, and you guys are more than welcome to co-author. We want people who have who've had mental health things, that challenging mental health things, but that have overcome. So when I thought about it, at first I'm thinking, what would be the best thing for me to write about? And one of the things that, I spoke about was my dad leaving the home and how I felt like I was not good enough after that. He left at 6, and I did everything I could as a 6-year-old to make him stay. I didn't realize that it wasn't me, and it took me a while, even into my 30s, to realize it's not you. It's not your fault. And you are good enough. Just life happens. Marriage happens, divorces happen. So, but as a 6-year-old that I allowed to run my life for 20, almost 30 years, that was a lot. So that was like a big mental part for me that led into a lot of things. Like I said, the self-hate. And I actually opened up in that book about eating disorders, which is not often talked about, especially in the Black community. Yeah. So I opened up, about that and the battle with that. And I think I've talked to you about it. I said, it's still a battle. Thankfully, I don't do those, of course, like I said, the self-hate, all fed into that. So I'm not doing those things any longer. But it's still a choice every day to say, I'm not going to overeat and feel guilty for what I've done, and then just overeat some more and just having that same vicious cycle. Yeah. Again, it's a choice. Yeah. But yeah, so that was what the book was about. And and it was hard to come. Oh gosh, it's so hard putting yourself out there like that. Yeah. But it helped. I had so many people come in my inbox on Facebook, Instagram, emails, just saying, I've battled an eating disorder, or my daughter is battling an eating disorder. My son is battling an eating disorder. So, I talked him through as best I could, but I referred him to therapists because I'm not a therapist. Sure. So yeah, that was a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's hard being vulnerable. It's hard putting yourself out there, but we do it because it does help others, you know, and it helps people to see they're not alone. And then also, like I said earlier, especially with you, that you can overcome it and you can do amazing things. Like you
Yes.
have accomplished so much. And so to say you came from this and now you're here is truly inspiring for sure. And especially for those who can find semblance with your situations. And you have several stories to tell, you know, and I didn't know that when I first asked you to do this interview, and we were chatting and you were like, what you want to talk about? And I was like, you're like, oh, we don't got that much time. So I think you probably have a few, maybe another book or two or chapter or two that's waiting to come out.
Apologies.
No, those are just for rotten babies. Don't mind them.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They're probably mad because she's not paying attention to them. Well, thank you so much, Misty, for chatting with me. Like I said, I think you have a couple more chapters, a book or two left in you. You know, and
stay tuned.
I know, right? But I adore you. I miss seeing you. I can't wait for this crap to be over. And
oh gosh.
and thank you again for chatting with me. I really appreciate it so much. You're muted.
I'm sorry, I had to mute for a second. He's right here in my ear. Oh goodness. So yeah, I appreciate you, Angela. And I love you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so
Gosh,
much.
you're an inspiration. Such a huge inspiration.
Thank you. That means so much coming from you. I appreciate that. All right, lady. Well, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you again. And if y'all have any questions, or if you are interested in picking up the book that Missy talked about, leave a comment below. We will be happy to respond. And I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you.